What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Gimme. Why the Gimme? You guys know why. Because it's good. This week, the Zurich Classic, the only team event on the PGA Tour schedule, a two-man event, 80 teams, 160 players vying for the Zurich Classic title. I'm Jason Sobel alongside my Zurich Classic partner, Collin Wilson. Coming up on the show, we're going to break down our favorite outright plays, our favorite props, our first-round leader bets, and yes, we're going to make our ultimate DFS lineup. Collin, do you take me to be your partner for the Zurich Classic this week?
I will take you to be my partner. I need you to handle the tee box. My scramble game is okay, and then I'll let you do the putting. So we'll make a great alternate team.
Okay, yeah. Alternate shot's a big part of this. We're going to talk about that. Everyone focuses on the best ball. Alternate shot is half of this thing. So let's get into it. The top of the board, Collin Morikawa and Viktor Hovland, two of the top 5 players in the world. They're like, hey, you're pretty good. I'm pretty good. Why don't we play together? And yeah, their number is very, very short, plus 650 this week, followed by Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele. Oh, by the way, they're pretty good as well, plus 800. Ryan Palmer's got Scotty Scheffler. Ryan Palmer, by the way, has played in this thing a few times. He's had Jordan Spieth, Jon Rahm, Scotty Scheffler. You must be a pretty good dude if all the best players in the world just want to play with you every year. So congrats to Ryan Palmer on snagging another ringer this week. Mark Leishman, Cameron Smith, the defending champions, are 10-1. Sam Burns, Billy Horschel at 12-1, rounding out that top tier. Tommy Fleetwood, Sergio Garcia, sounds like a Ryder Cup pairing. They are 16-1. Let's get to our perfect portfolios. You can see how we did last week for the RBC Heritage. This week, once again, Collin, our bosses have given us $100 to spend. You can't spend it all in one place because that's a lot of money, but I want you to break it down. We're going to start with some outrights. Where are you going with your outrights this week?
I don't even know if you're going to take a gas with $100 anymore, but two people that are traveling together, and Collin Morikawa is tweeting out, since Victor doesn't have Twitter, I need some music recommendations. These two are in it. They are ready to play together. I am excited about this pairing. And here's the thing I didn't think I would say. When I first saw the odds, I said, that price is get out of here. There's no way I lay big favorites. The only time I've ever done that is Floyd Mayweather in my life. Listen, this number is completely justified. And that doesn't come out of my mouth very often, taking the top dog on the board. And the reason is because Morikawa and Hovland are 1 and 2 on the PGA Tour in long-term strokes gained approach, a very important stat that you're going to need for TPC Louisiana. Also, the big stat that I'm going to reference every single time I take a golfer, it's going to be par 4 scoring, birdie or better. It is uber important here at this Pete Dye course. Both Morikawa and Hovland rank in the top 10 on the tour this year in birdie or better scoring. So you're giving me the number 1 and number 2 strokes gained approach. You're giving me two players that are in the top 10 of the PGA Tour in birdie or better scoring. The odds are justified. Now, if we can avoid Victor having the third shot chip during the alternates, this is the team to beat. So I understand the price looks outrageous, and it is, but it's justified. I'm going to move into another.
Collin, just to interject a little bit. I don't know if you knew this. Victor Hovland, he's a death metal guy. I'm serious. I have no idea. I can't even pick out a song for that. But if you hear something real heavy on the first tee, it means Victor got his way and not Collin.
That makes a lot of sense because Victor and I both shop at the Lexus of Tulsa. And I've heard that he's a heavy metal fan. So I'm going to move into a team. I saw Bubba Watts on Instagram today, and him and Harold Varner III are just chumming it up. I think they're already in love with each other. It's a bro fest. And I'm going to take him 25-1, 10% of my bankroll. Listen, Bubba has not finished outside the top 20 at TPC Louisiana since 2009. He loves playing here. And now he gets Harold Varner III, who's off a top 5 at Harbortown. And he's currently top 20 in the PGA in par 4 scoring, extremely important here. So, some of the bigger names that are up on the board that I've already mentioned with Morikawa, Hovland, are giving value to guys underneath 20-1. And this is one of those pairs where there's course fit, hot. The pairs are excited to play with each other. I think Bubba and HV3 have it all going. So I'll take 25-1, 10% of my bankroll.
I like both of those plays. I'm going to mention each of those teams a little bit later in the show, but to start my outrights, I'm going to kick it off with Sam Burns and Billy Horschel. And I'm looking for two different aspects from teams this week. I'm not just looking at analytics. Of course, they're important, but I'm looking at intangibles. And the biggest intangible, of course, is a little team chemistry. I want guys who enjoy playing with each other. I want guys who are going to feed off of each other. These guys played together last year, and I thought, maybe this isn't the greatest pairing. You've got an LSU Tiger and a Florida Gator. That's going to, kind of butt heads a little bit. No, they love playing with each other. In fact, this really was the springboard for Sam Burns, who very soon afterwards won his first PGA Tour event at the Valspar last year. So I like the fact that they like playing together. That's going to be a big theme of my picks throughout this week. But the other thing is they're both really good. They're both having really good years. And so I think for just about twice the price of Hovland and Morikawa, I think there's a little bit of value in looking at these two. I'm going to throw $20 on them at 12-1 outright. My second outright play, a couple of guys that I really like. They play a ton of golf together. Whenever they're at a tournament together, they play all of their practice rounds with each other. Keegan Bradley and Brendan Steele. So you've got the team chemistry, you've got the camaraderie. They're really good friends, go on vacations together, all that kind of stuff. What's also good about this, and I mentioned before, this isn't just a best ball event. I think people tend to look at, hey, two guys playing, you take the best score and, you're going to shoot 63 and you're going to have a really good number. That's true for Thursday and for Saturday, but Friday and Sunday are both alternate shot. As you mentioned earlier, Collin, I want similar types of players for alternate shot. Keegan Bradley and Brendan Steele are both similar types of players, really good, long, straight off the tee, good iron players. Yeah, the putters might have to get hot, but if they do, they have a great chance of winning this thing. And I know that they are very, very confident playing with each other for this event moving into this week. All right, let's talk about the format a little bit. I mentioned it just there, but I want to really get into this. Best ball. It's essentially, hey, me and Collin are going out and we're playing two other guys. I make a 7 on the first hole, but Collin makes a 4. Our score is a 4. On the next hole, I make a 9. Collin makes a 3. Our score is a 3. I think you sense the pattern, the trend here. Collin's picking up the team, but for Friday and Sunday, I can't rely on him as much. It's alternate shot, not modified. Doesn't mean we both get to tee off. It's true alternate shot. One player tees off, the other player hits the next shot. And so you've got to get guys who are in sync and can play together. We're at TPC Louisiana, just a notch over 7,400 yards, a par 72. Let's get to our favorite prop plays. Collin, you're up.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a couple of SEC alums, and you've already named them off with Sam Burns and Billy Horschel, top 10. I know you took them outright, so of course I love them too. I was making that pick the same time you were, and I was not shocked that we both picked it. And when you get into the advanced stats that you were mentioning, both Billy Horschel and Sam Burns are top 16 in par 4 scoring this year. I mean, that's amazing that both of them are going to play together and have this kind of ability. And before this event was best ball and alternating shot, Billy Horschel won on this track in 2013. So I'm going to do 25%. That is a large wager. I'm going to do 25%, top 10, Sam Burns and Billy Horschel to finish in the top 10 plus 125. It's plus money also. And so I have a lot of faith in that. Then I'm going to move to a top 20. Two guys I believe that have not played together before, but I'm going to spend 15% of my bankroll on a plus 140 on Graham McDowell and Seamus Power. And I think it's interesting that there's no denying that Graham McDowell is the hot player on the court on the tour right now. He just finished 21st at Harbortown. He posted 3 rounds of 68 or better. His scramble percentage was one of the best he's had the past year at 78%. And that's important because we're on another Pete Dye course where you've got to be real careful about how you attack the greens. And, McDowell finished 23rd last year when he was paired up with Matt Wallace. So he has some course history here, and he's hot right now. Now, enter Seamus Power, right? Young Seamus Power. He finished 33rd in terrible conditions at the Players, 27th at the Masters. Power is currently 19th on the PGA Tour in par 4 scoring, the ultimate stat here that we're looking for. This is definitely a duo that I think is being completely overlooked. I'll spend 15%, top 20, plus 140, Graham McDowell, Seamus Power.
I like that a lot. My first prop is going to piggyback one of your outrights since you piggybacked one of mine. Look, Collin Morikawa and Viktor Hovland are the two best players in the field, not named Scotty Scheffler this week. They're playing together. You look at it, and I need someone who's better at math and better at logistics and analytics to explain this to me. But if, let's say, Collin Morikawa is 6% better than the field average for this season, and Viktor Hovland is 6% better than the field average, it's going to be tougher for two average, and I don't mean average in a demeaning way. I just mean average based on PGA Tour numbers and stats. It's going to be tougher for two average players to beat two really good players. They're just set up to have a really good week. I've got them top 5. It's only plus 150, but they're going to be up there. I'm throwing $20 on that. And then looking down the board a little bit, I don't think there's a whole lot of value out there. I told you the top of the board earlier, Collin, and there are 4 teams that are 10-1 or shorter for outright plays. You've really got to dig around to find a team that's got a bigger number, and especially on these props. Keith Mitchell and Brandt Snedeker And Mitchell is a guy that I've been on the entire year. Snedeker hasn't played his best golf, but a wily old veteran who can roll in some putts. They finished the share of fourth place last year. And again, here's the team camaraderie thing. They loved playing with each other. Snedeker talked in glowing terms about Mitchell, said that was one of the greatest driving performances he had ever seen last year at TBC Louisiana. I've got them for a top 10 at plus 500, 5-1 for those guys to finish in the top 10. I think it's a really good number. I'm throwing 20 on that. What else you got?
Yeah, I think social relationships, and we've mentioned it, is really important. I mean, if you played as an amateur together, or you played in the Ryder Cup together, when my wife and I play, we elevate each other. We also kind of, take one of us having a bad round, we kind of take it away from each other. But I think it goes to show that this Rose Stenson minus 130 over Doug Gim and T. Schwab is, I'm going to put $10 in my bankroll, 10% on them to win this matchup. Now, these two, Justin Rose and Heinrich Stenson, they've been playing together since they were amateurs. They've been Ryder Cup partners. They know each other very well. And right now, Justin Rose missed 3 straight cuts. I mean, bad weather at the Masters, bad weather at the Players, Arnold Palmer. The good news is Heinrich Stenson is fresh off the cut at the Heritage. He shot a nice 68 on Sunday. Stenson's been living off excellent GIR and scrambling percentage. So maybe his best ball is what works when they're in that format, allowing Justin Rose maybe to take some chances or try to outdo his partner. Maybe it elevates his game. But what I do know is that Doug Gim and Schwab, they don't have it going right now. Doug Gim ranks 200th out of 205 players on the PGA Tour in par 4 scoring. That's not going to work at TPC Louisiana. Stenson and Rose finished 11th here last year. I know Rose is completely out of form. But I do think that this is a partnership that he looks forward to, and it'll probably elevate his game. I'll take him minus 130 on the matchup.
I like that. You got one more for me?
Yeah, we're going to go with Tommy Fleetwood and Sergio Garcia minus 125 over Shane Lowry and Ian Poulter, 25% of my bankroll. I know, because we gave Lowry just so much love. We showered him with so much last week. That late double bogey and then a couple of missed putts, and you and I missed our cash. Right. I mean, we had it at minus 14. We were there. But the fact is that both Lowry and Poulter are outside the top 120 in par 4 scoring. I can't deny what I'm seeing with the statistics. Now, Lowry's on fire right now and approaching greens, and he's playing at the top of his game. But there is an alternate shot aspect of this, and Poulter's just not holding his weight like Collin Morikawa and Victor Hovland are with each other. So there's a little bit of wind and precip in the forecast on Saturday. Softer greens, that's going to allow Fleetwood and Garcia to take aim at the pin. Sergio is top 15 of this entire field at TPC Louisiana in strokes gained tee to green and approach. Extremely important. And as for Tommy Fleetwood, this is one of the quietest comebacks I've seen. 5 straight events of a top 22. Yeah. I'm going to use 25% on Garcia and Fleetwood. I got 2 hot golfers, right now that love this course. They're probably going to enjoy going up against Lowry and Poulter, but I've got the better statistics on my side in par 4 scoring with this matchup. So Fleetwood, Garcia all the way.
I like that. Those are a couple of Ryder Cup guys. I'm going with a pair of countrymen with a top 20 play. The Canadian Adam Hadwin and Adam Svensson. I mean, you can't talk any more about camaraderie than 2 guys from the same country who have the same first name, but they're also pretty good players. If I had given you one of those sort of like blind look at results, Collin, where I said, okay, whose results are these over his last 7 starts, 6 finishes of 26 or better, 3 inside the top 10, you go, I don't know, maybe Dustin Johnson, maybe Patrick Cantlay. No, it's Adam Hadwin. Very, very sneakily playing some great golf right now. Adam Svensson himself has a couple of top 10 finishes here in 2022. I've got them for a top 20. And remember, only 80 teams. They've just got to beat 75% of the field this week at plus 160. I'm throwing $10 on them. And then my last prop play. There have only been 2 albatrosses. Albatrousses? I don't. Double eagles? I can't say. Not double eagles. There have only been 2 occurrences of albatross so far on the PGA Tour this season. Russell Henley has one. Abraham Answer has the other. It doesn't happen very often, which is why it's a pretty big number. Why could there be an albatross this week? Well, I'll tell you why. In the best ball format, and remember, we've got 4 par 5 holes. They're all gettable at TPC Louisiana. In this best ball format, if your partner hits a good shot and it's just in the front of the green and he's going to make birdie, okay, you're thinking to yourself, well, I might as well give it a shot. I'm going to go right at the stick now, and I'm going to take a shot at it. Now, does that mean at some point somebody's second shot is going to go in the hole on a par 5? Who knows? We could have 10 shots that all wind up this far away and the bet doesn't cash. We're hoping that some magic happens, but at 6 plus 6,500, 65 to 1 to have an albatross this week, Why not? I love that number. And hey, who doesn't like rooting for an albatross at some point? I'll be watching all these guys with their second shots on the par five. And you know what? I wouldn't mind a hole in one on a par four too, if that's really what you want to get after. So I'm throwing $10 on that prop. All right, let's get to our ultimate DFS lineup. We do it every week on the Links and Locks podcast. You should check out our models, tools, optimizers, and all that good stuff on Fantasy Labs. We're going to make a 6-player lineup using DraftKings as we always do. Collin, what you got?
I'm going to start off our team with Will Zalatoris and Davis Riley at 8,900. Two former roommates. No course history here with these two young guys, but the expectation is in a few years, these are two gentlemen we're going to refer to as Morikawa and Hovland as far as ball striking is concerned. Zalatoris is fresh off a 6th place finish at the Masters. We talked about that last week. Davis Riley, 8th on the tour and par 4 scoring through 50 rounds. I had no clue he was scoring that much on par 4s. This is a powerful but cheap blue chip option to start off the roster.
Quite frankly, I'm surprised it took us this long into the show to get to those two guys. I like them a lot. I haven't just wedged them into any of my bets yet, but I do think that's a really good play. And I've thought ever since this tournament expanded to the team format in 2017, this would be a really good place for some guys to pick off that first career PGA Tour win, maybe a little extra motivation. So far, of the 8 players who've won, the 4 teams, only one has won his first PGA Tour title at this event. That was Cam Smith back in 2017. I don't know whatever happened to that guy. He's only top 5 in the world now, and he won again here last year. But this could certainly be a major springboard for both Zalatoris and Riley if they could win this week, and I think they can certainly give it a good shot. All right. I mentioned earlier the really good betting number. I think there's a lot of value on Keith Mitchell and Brandt Snedeker. And look, DraftKings essentially, not all the time and not one by one, but for the most part, the value in DFS mirrors the value in the marketplace, in the betting marketplace. And so it's 7,900, less than the average play on the board this week. I really like Keith Mitchell and Brandt Snedeker once again. And so if I like them in betting and I think there's good value, I like them in DFS because there's good value there. So I'm putting them in the lineup.
Yeah, and before I do my next pick, just let everybody know that Cam Smith is a round 4 god. So if you like live betting and you want to hit some matchups late, I think he leads all scoring in round 4. So Cam Smith's been doing that. Listen, for the third pick on the DFS lineup, I took Chad Ramey last week. It paid off. He was hot for 3 rounds. I think +5 on Sunday. You know, maybe it was a lot. I mean, I didn't expect this much out of Chad Ramey to see his name on the leaderboard for 3 days up at the top. And I'm going to go back to it here. 6,500, Chad Ramey, Joshua Creel. And, listen, his game really kind of fits this course from an approach. Like I said, it's a Pete Dye course again. Crazy enough, Chad Ramey is 26th in par 4 birdie or better scoring. I don't have a good stat for Joshua Creel, but if it's best ball, that means it's going to be Ramey ball. So they're going to be playing Chad's ball probably a lot in the rounds that it's him. But like we said, in these social aspects, if you can elevate your game to your partner, maybe we can get something out of Joshua Creel in the alternates. But it's 6,500, low ownership. Doesn't break the bank, save some money for us, and I think we're going to make the cut with Chad Ramey again.
Well, you have saved us some money, and I'm going to spend some money. We've talked all about Hovland and Morikawa throughout this show, but we haven't talked about the other superstar pairing that much. And I think that there's a high floor and, of course, a high ceiling in Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay. And there might be a little extra motivation there. These two guys, they like each other. They played together in the Ryder Cup. We know how good they are. Patrick Cantlay coming off his 2nd playoff loss of the year. Got a little screwed in that playoff last week. No one else is doing but his own. Put it in the bunker and just didn't have as good a lie in that bunker as Jordan Spieth did. Wound up losing at Harbortown in a playoff on the first playoff hole. Also lost in Phoenix to Scotty Scheffler. I guess if you're going to lose playoffs, lose them to guys like Scheffler and Spieth, really good players out there. But Cantlay's got to be itching to get back into that winner's circle. For Xander Schauffele, forgetting that Olympic gold medal, which wasn't an official PGA Tour win, he does not have a win, and it's getting up on 3.5 years now, which is crazy to think of for a guy who's this talented. I've talked to so many players over the last couple of years who say, I love playing practice rounds, playing away week rounds with Xander Schauffele back at home because this guy is so good. I know that if I can't beat him, then I can't go win out on the PGA Tour. I've got to be at least as good as he is, and he's really, really good. He's got the respect of all of his peers, and I think he's ready to go start playing some good golf at some point. So, again, high floor, high ceiling for those guys this week.
Yeah, that's the chip on the shoulder team. They're going to pay off for us. So I'm going to go back to the Canadian duo that you already mentioned with the Adams of Sevenson and Hadwin. And listen, Sevenson's he's really had his moments over the last couple of months. 9th at the Honda, 7th at the Sony. He's been a favorite of ours in a DFS lineup, looking in the 6,000 range. So what's consistent about his game is driving accuracy and GRR. That is going to play here. That is going to allow Adam Hadwin to take shots in best ball. And that's really kind of the social dynamic you got to know about here. Hadwin is red hot, Jason. You already mentioned it. For a price of 8,000, this guy has 3 top 10 finishes at the Players, Valspar, Texas Open. He shot under 70 in 3 of the 4 rounds last week at Harbortown. I'm going to happily take 8,000 on the Adams from Canada. I'm going to sing "Oh Canada" all weekend because I think that's a great piece to our DFS lineup.
Yeah, I like that as well. Okay, we've got something right in the middle to spend, and I'm going to spend 8,200. Chris Kirk is a guy that I've targeted very often over the last 3.5 months. I like his game. I think he's ready to contend for some big time titles on the PGA Tour. He's paired this week with another UGA product, his good friend Brendan Todd. Brendan Todd is a guy that we haven't seen him play his best golf until recently. Top 10 at the Valero Texas Open, top 30 at the RBC Heritage. What we've seen from Todd, what we know about him throughout his career is when he starts playing well, he starts playing really well. He's among the streakiest players out there. When it's not going well, you stay far away. When it's going well for Brendan Todd, you jump on. He's a fairways and greens type of player. Doesn't hit it a long way, but he is not going to put Chris Kirk into any troublesome situations off the tee in alternate shot. I think he's going to be a really good partner for that. I like them at 8,200. There's the lineup: Zalatoris Riley, Mitchell Snedeker, Ramey Creel, Cantlay Schauffele, Hadwin Svensson, and Kirk Todd. That's a lot of names. Feels like we have too many names in that lineup, but trust me, it works. By the way, if you're playing DraftKings this week and you say, "Oh, I really like Cantlay," what if I try to double up and I hit Cantlay and then I hit Schauffele and I get double the amount? Trust me, it doesn't work. We all tried it. Doesn't work that way. No. Nice try though. I appreciate the effort. All right, it's time to get in our first round leader bets. And again, remember, and I've said it a few times, first round is best ball. So it's playing the better ball of the two each hole. I'm sure, hopefully some of the books get on a second round leader bet where you're betting on teams to have the best alternate shot score, because I think that's going to be wildly different. But betting on best ball for the first round leader, who you got, Collin?
Yeah, I'm going to go with history here. And I know that Lucas Glover and Chez Reavie are not in current form right now, but in 2018, they finished the first round with a leading 60. They turned around in 2019, they shot a 62. These guys are first round kings at TPC Louisiana. They didn't do so well at this event last year. I think they finished 70th overall, but both Reavie and Glover are not currently in good form, but the fact that they had success in 18 and 19 back-to-back shooting 60 and a 62 tells me that there may be something from a social aspect where they pick each other's games up, they show up, and they're able to pull off what they've done before. They know that they can do it. And it's just that we haven't seen the two of their names up at the top of the leaderboard in quite some time. But the fact that, history is there, I'm going to slide just 5% of my bankroll down on some history here. And I'm just going to ignore the fact that, we haven't really seen Chez, have a first round leader in quite a while. So I'm just going to rely on history here and make it a low volume play. Nothing big.
Yeah, I like that. I'm not going that far down the board, but I'm going with two guys you mentioned earlier for your outright play. I think that Harold Varner III and Bubba Watson are going to have an incredible time together. They've become very good friends. These are two guys who make a lot of birdies. They especially make a lot of birdies on Thursday and Friday. These are guys who like getting themselves into position going into the weekend. I could see them throwing up a 61, 62 and just getting after some pins and really feeding off each other in the opening round. I'm throwing $10 of my portfolio on them at plus 3,000 this week. Those are the portfolios right there. Collin's got Hovland and Morikawa and HV3 and Bubba for his outright plays. Props on Burns, Horschel, McDowell, and Power. And he's got matchups on Rose, Stenson, and Fleetwood Garcia with first round leader play on Glover and Chez Reavie. I've got Horschel and Burns and Keegan Bradley, Brendan Steele as my outrights. Hovland Morikawa, Mitchell Snedeker, and Hadwin Svensson as my props. I need an albatross. An albatross would be awesome. It would make the entire week at 65-1. And my first round leader play, HV3 and Bubba. Thanks to everybody out there for watching this episode of the Gimme. If you're watching us live, jump on Twitter Spaces at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Get me and Collin talking more about what we like this week and even taking your questions. So you can catch us there. Go to @GolfBet to find us on the Twitter Spaces. Remember, GolfBet has all of the content you need for this week's Zurich Classic and every single week on the PGA Tour. For my Zurich Classic partner, Collin Wilson, I'm Jason Sobel. Good luck with all your plays this week. Here's hoping you guys hit the green.